Welcome back to another Kray video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any future videos. And for people really interested in the Krays, please join our Facebook group, Krays, Crime Lords of London. The link for the group is in the YouTube description section. We have been running for 8 years, have nearly 20,000 members, and are moderated and friendly. Give us a try.
I am proud of the fact that I organised a church service and a funeral from within prison walls, and I wish to express my full sentiments on the memory of the church service and the funeral of my brother Ron. My memories are of the St Matthew's Church, in that to me it is the most beautiful church I have been in, and I have been in many. My other profound memory is of the choir of children that took part in the service, how innocent they looked, and also of the 3 young boys that ran either side of my car from Bethnal Green all the way to Chingford. On my left hand was a white boy of about 15 years of age, and he shouted out, "I will stay with you, Reg," and he gave the clenched fist sign and kept shouting out, "Stay and day," which makes me sure that someone above was giving the day his blessing. I also remember all the kids shouting out, "The Krays, the Krays." They also said, "We love Reggie," and the Kray twins, and then Reggie, free Reggie. I was concerned that the noise of the clapping and shouting would make the horses bolt. In fact, one of the escort expressed concern, so I waved my hands in the air like the conductor of a band, up and down in slow motion, asking the crowd of onlookers to cool it a little, which they did until the clapping started again. My main concern was that the horses would bolt with the hearse. The kids might otherwise wonder why I asked for quiet unless I mention this. I remember too the chief of the uniformed police with his gold braided cap coming into the funeral parlour to ask Charlie and I if everything was satisfactory, and he introduced us to his 2 public relations people, one of them a young female and the other a young male. I enjoyed seeing them flirting with the young girls who were waving to me, who were wearing short skirts which showed their nice figures, and how I would like to party with them when released. I blew them many kisses and they returned them. A memory which I find humorous and I know Ron would be laughing at, is that once again he had a police cavalcade and motorbike escort. Once many years back in 1963 he had the same when he went to Nigeria on business to a place called Enugu, and the Nigerians gave Ron an escort from the airport of a police cavalcade of motorbikes. I am sure that Ron would be laughing at the fact of his police escort during his funeral. I wish it were possible, personally, to thank all the people that were present. I also recall a sea of old faces and new faces that greeted me, and how dignified our security people looked and behaved. I also observed all the people waving from balconies and windows, and how people took off their hats and tape to hear. 2 days before the funeral, the video company let me down, but with Kray at my graveside, and I decided these two would be used in the service. These happenings singular may not seem strange and good, but think about them in their entirety, and I'm sure you will reach the same conclusion as I, that they are not of normal coincidence. Good again that the thousands of letters I received in condolence and tribute were all of unison in respect. Very strange that my request of a photo taken of Ron in the coffin was not put into practice. But days later, someone sent a photo of Ron taken in the coffin by someone anonymous, was sent to a national newspaper, of which I now have the original copy. Hence, once again, my most important of all wishes had been granted. The picture of Ron and I on a reef had been stolen from the graveside. This picture I had wanted in my possession. Days later it was returned via the undertakers. I will have the picture in my possession. The prison staff of Escort were considerate and kind, and we worked in complete harmony. How nice it was to see the East End again, and to hear the shouts from the people of the Kray twins. We love Reggie, free Reggie. How good to be in such a pretty church, and to hear and see the innocence of the Kray children. Fragrance from the incense which was used as part of the burial service, along with the song of chant that went with it at the graveside, which I found to be so calming. How strange that the night before the funeral I lay on the floor where I usually sleep, and I had a warm glow around area of my spine, and I felt calm and serene. It was as though Ron was telling me all was well. Earlier in the night, a Salvation Army man visiting gave me 3 small cards. The blue one had the words on it, "Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." The Salvation man also gave me a small packet of lavender, and earlier in the day a friend said she had ordered me a wreath of lavender. Again, I saw this as a message from Ron, because many years ago my father, brothers and I used to go walking the streets buying old clothes as a way of living in the suburbs of London. And my father would always break off stems of lavender and give them to us. So I saw the packet of lavender as an omen of good, especially because part of my family were of gypsy origin, and all gypsies like lavender. The day that I got the original picture of Ron in the coffin, I myself in the privacy of my cell, and within seconds, I once again had a very warm, glowing feeling in the area of my back, of such an extent that when I was unlocked from my cell, an hour later, I asked of my friends to feel my back and bear witness to the heat, and they were amazed. On reflection, I did recall that Siamese twins are joined by the spine. Is it not strange that such a momentous occasion and yet there was not one accident, injury or mishap on the day? I feel that my brother Ron has left a legacy of respect that has been shown to my brother Charlie and I, just as my mother did the same when she passed away in the year 1982. I believe that life and death for all is predestined, and that there is afterlife, even more so after I have witnessed the strange and good of the recent days. I hope many will find comfort from my recent experiences, and most important of all, I'm sure that God blessed my brother Ron's day. On the day, I thought of those who could not be present but were with me in spirit. My friend Steph King, who had helped me so much, and others who could not be present. Brad, Paul, Bradley, Lee, young Charlie, Ron, Robert, Ken, and others, too many to mention. There's many other sides to Ron that I could tell you about. One time Ron went to Nigeria on a business trip, and the officials in Nigeria said to Ron, "Where would you like to go? Is there anywhere you'd like to go of interest in Nigeria?" So Ron said yes. He said, "I'd like to visit your prison, your local prison, because I'm interested in criminology." And they took him in an official capacity to visit this Nigerian jail. And he went on tour of the place, and at the time he had convictions, and Ron saw the human side of this. And when he came out of jail, he had his photographs taken with the chief warder at the gate, and this was the funny side of Ron. He had a great sense of humour. And the situation of the underworld was discussed, and he went off okay, and then he went back to a local hotel there, and then he eventually flew back to London. It could have been a dangerous situation, but Ron was not one to worry. He went there on his own. A similar thing happened years later, just before 1968. He went to Brooklyn in the United States, and his wish was to see Crazy Joe Gallo, who was mafia. And Crazy Joe had a reputation, a very bad reputation, of being homicidal. But Ron wasn't deterred. He went to a little cafe in Little Italy, where Amanda the dwarf stood outside. Amanda was a relation to Punchy Iliana, and Amanda used to watch out for everyone. He knew everyone who was walking in and out the cafe. He was the kind of there was Ron and I, and he was drinking gin and tonics when 3 fellas came into the pub, and they stood behind Ron and they started making detrimental remarks against Ron. And I watched him as he stepped down from the bar stool, and he hit one with a right hand punch and knocked him spark out, and he turned the other way and hit one with a left hook, the other one, and knocked him spark out, and the third one ran out of the, and as I say, it was like a real cowboy fight. And I remember this night, all these years later. But I think the thing outstanding most is he had a great sense of humour, and above all, he was a man.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please join our Facebook group. It's called Krays Crime Lords of London. We're a friendly, moderated group with over 1,000 Kray and other celebrated gangster videos available for view. There's also thousands of images in the photos sections. The link for the group is in the YouTube description section. I hope we see you there soon.
Leave a like and subscribe.